Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Denise Love, and today I'm excited to share with you some of the latest additions to my art supply collection. As someone who loves to experiment with different mediums and colors, I'm always on the lookout for new and exciting supplies to try out. In this video, we'll be taking a closer look at some of the art supplies I received in my Sketchbox subscription this month, as well as some unique finds from the St. Louis Art Supply Company. So grab your favorite beverage and settle in, and let's dive into these new art supplies together. Let's check out the fun goodies in my box. Okay, and I have one thing which I'll say came from neither one of the Sketchbox or the St. Louis Art Supply, but it did come in right as I was going to film this video, and I'm super excited to try them out. These are Sennelier heavy-bodied paint liners. So this was fun to include, and I'm super excited to get these because, you know, one of my very favorite art supplies is my Posca pen, which is an acrylic paint. It makes a fun lightweight dot. You know, if we've got a extra piece of paper here, we can see it makes a beautiful dot in here. And I wanted to see if, you know, a heavy-bodied liner, which you can draw with and do dots and shapes with, would give me, say, perhaps a little bit larger dot. It looks like I'm still going to get a lot of control with this fun nib here. And look how much bigger and more defined I can get the dot with a big liner. So super cool alternative to our favorite paint pens. So this comes in a little pack of several colors. It's got white, black, yellow, red, and blue. May come in some other colors, I'm not sure. I just ordered this pack to see. And I love the nice little drawing tip on these. So I'm thinking I'm gonna have a lot of fun with these Sennelier heavy-bodied liners. Super fun. Somebody introduced that to me on one of my art channels and said, ooh, they got that. And I'm like, ooh, what is that? And also, this is from the St. Louis Art Supply Company. I also got, hot dog, some new brushes to experiment with. My very favorite brush happens to be my Raphael Soft Aqua Quill brushes. I don't know why, I've just always really loved these ever since I found them at an art show. And I love Princeton Neptune brushes, and they also have some yummy quill brushes. So I thought I'd get a couple of these that were, I guess, a little bit larger than what I already have, because these are quite a bit larger than the ones I'm already using. So really fun, because when you want to go larger brushes are handy. So now I've got a couple of those in a larger size, and I like the little mop brush. It lets me do lots of fun things with it. I also got some of these Winsor & Newton bamboo brushes, and these would be like things that you could do some fun writing with. I mean, what I really want to do with it, let me wet this here really good. And I've got a little towel here. What I really want to do with it is experiment in asemic writing. Which, if you don't know what that is, it is randomly writing. That's not real writing. It's like, looks like writing, think it could be writing, but you're just not sure. And you see a lot of artists do this, and it's a lot of times it's really nice to add mood and atmosphere and perhaps tell a story without actually having text there that somebody can read. And I'll tell you what this is in a second, but I'm kind of thinking like I could put the dip in to the ink, and I could then play with some fun writing in my work with this kind of calligraphy bamboo pen. And these are a little scrappier feel, so I think if I roll paint around, I'm going to get a little different different look than if I roll paint around with my quill brush. So that's super fun. My very favorite ink that I use, very favorite, you'll see it in all my little art classes, is the Kuratake Brilliant Gold Mica ink. And the St. Louis Art Supply Company happened to have some more Kuratake inks. They had the black ink and silver ink, which I've not seen the silver ink, And now I'm like wishing that they made copper and bronze also, because these are my very favorite. I might not have shook that enough, but let's just take a look. Yes, look at this. Let's dip that in there and just see. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's exactly what I wanted. Oh, it's got a really pretty shine to it, just like that gold. I think I'm gonna really like having this next option in a silver mica ink. So, if you haven't tried the Kuratake inks, the gold, the silver, they also have this gold mica paste. Very, very favorite thicker paste. It's so shiny and brilliant and beautiful. So I'm super excited to now have my favorite gold ink in a silver and in the black. So those will be super fun. And I'm using my favorite dip pen, which is this Kakamori brass nib, and I love it because it's multi-sided and you dip it and it takes the ink for a lot, and then you can do different shapes and circles and stuff. But I also have like a regular dip pen that I love, and the reason I'm showing you both of those is because I've ordered a Kakamori dip nib because I want to see, is it going to give me different lines and shapes than the regular nib that I have. And these are fun, and all you got to do is take your pen holder and take the nib out that you have in there and slip your new nib in, and you are ready to use this. You just dip it. Let's just see what we get here. Let's just dip that in and see. Might be able to see that better in the black because it is, the silver is rather light. The gold I love because it's so brilliant. That's rather light on this. Let's just do the black and see if it'll give us a, oh yeah, see, look at that. Whoa! Ooh, and a good little splatter. Look how pretty that is. So that's going to be fun to play in. I love getting different little nibs. Somebody said they were confused about dip pens, and they're basically calligraphy dip pens. If you're looking, you'll see that referred to a lot. But look how pretty that dip pen is compared to my cheap one. I do like a sharp nib on there because I like to do really thin writing with it, and so, oh, that's gonna be some fun stuff. Okay, let's see what else we got. I also got another of my favorite nib, because what if this is how that nib comes. And you can just get a holder. These just come out of the holder and then they slip right back into a holder. And you can get any holder. You can get a cheap holder at the art store. You can get an expensive holder from St. Louis Art Supply. This one is the ebony holder, because I thought, well, a nice, beautiful nib like that deserves a nice holder. But you know, with that gold ink that I use, you can see I'm just going to paint my holder when I do that. So, cheap holder is just fine, does the same thing, but I did get me a spare because that's my very favorite. And if I lose it or I dry ink in it accidentally, or I don't know, something happens to it and I damage it, because who knows, I'm clumsy. It is brass, so it is pretty sturdy, but I'd like to have a spare or two while I'm working on stuff. So super fun, I got a spare. And because I'm not really sure how to clean those other than dip in water and wipe them off, if I do something that I need a little extra cleaning, I actually got some universal pen cleaner, which removes ink from all fountain pens and dip pens. So nice little handy thing I'm excited to get. So those are my St. Louis Art Supply haul, and let's move into what came in my Sketchbox this month. I don't want to lose some of my little pieces here. This month it was a watercolor month, it looks like. And what I love about the Sketchbox is it's just a delightful surprise. It's like you're getting a little present. You don't know what you're going to get, and you're just kind of wondering like, ooh, what's going to be into this month's box? Sometimes it's a bunch of pens and pencils, and I gotta be honest, I got so many pens and pencils, I kind of wonder, do I ever need another one the rest of my life? And then sometimes they'll send me something and I'm like, well, yes I did, I needed that. Same with paintbrushes. I got a million paintbrushes, but can you really have too many paintbrushes? I don't think so. So this month they sent me an angle chisel 3/8 inch brush. Look how pretty that brush is. I think I'm gonna like that. Those are good for painting like leaves and petals and fun things like that. They also sent me a Copic multi-liner pen in the 0.1 size. Oh, that's a nice fine size. Oh, look at that. And it's like it's a copper color. So I was just saying I wanted these inks to be in copper and bronze, and I have a copper pen. Must have had copper on my mind. So these are, it says it's brown. This is the brown color, but it's a pretty brown. It's like a coppery brown. So I like that. And look at these. This is pretty cool. I love paint pigments and art pigments, and I like to photograph with them, and I like to use them in making my own paints. And this month they sent me some pigment powder, and this one is silver. And there's also a blue, primary red, and primary yellow. So I'm assuming they sent the primary colors so you can really mix and create any color that you want. And it has its own little handle here. Let's just open this up because I like this little handle, measuring spoon, its own little measuring. Ooh, wow, look at that cute spoon. I can use that on everything I have that's a powder. Let me tell you, I have a lot of powders. So let's just check this out. So I'm kind of liking, so you got to be careful when you're working with powders because they're powder and you don't want to breathe them, and you want to be super careful using them in your art that you're not putting these in the air and breathing them. So be super, super careful. But what's fun about powders is you can create all kinds of fun stuff. And the other thing that they gave me in this little box is some gum Arabic. And I like gum Arabic. You can kind of make your own watercolors on the fly, or you can make a more archival watercolor with honey added to it. I've got on one of my Skillshare art classes how to make your own watercolor paint. So if you're going to use it immediately, you can just mix it with the gum Arabic. If you're going to use it later, then you want to add a few other elements in it that's going to allow you to get these wet again. And basically all you do is just stir your pigment in with the gum Arabic and it's ready to use. So let's put the lid back on the powder so we don't get it all over the place. And maybe let's just pick up one of our bamboo brushes and check this out. So I'm getting it wet, just kind of loosening that up, and then we're ready to use our watercolor. I could have mixed that a little bit longer, but still, you get the idea. Oh, look how cool that brush is. I can see getting some really fun, like little landscape shapes out of this. And I like that the brush is a little bit scrappy. It's not as even as my quill brushes there. Oh yeah, I'm going to get some good stuff out of that. Now the thing about these, and I can already tell you is going to be annoying, is it leaves bristles. So you might have like a little X-Acto knife or something around to pull the bristles off your art. That's going to be annoying. But is it like a natural bristle? So, I mean, that's just the hazards of using this kind of thing. You'll just need to know going right up front. You might lose bristles in a brush like this, but oh, I'm loving that. Cool! Cool stuff! And I love that I always get a little pad of some surface. Sometimes it's watercolor paper, sometimes it's mixed media paper, sometimes it's colored paper. A couple months ago I got some different colored paper to try out, so I'm going to make it my goal in my 100-day project to use some of these papers and be like, oh, I love this, or oh, I didn't like that. And so super fun. I also love that they include what's in your box and what it is. I love that. So I thought it would be fun to just give some of this stuff a try. So I've got my little watercolor pad open. This is a Canson watercolor block, 4x6, 140-pound cold press paper. It does not say 100% cotton, so I'm assuming it's not 100% cotton. But it is a nice feeling, so I like that. I'm going to use let's just use the big quill brush, even though it's probably bigger than I want. Let's just make a little abstract painting with some of this stuff. I've mixed up the blue and the red. Not ready to put the water on there yet. Oh, but you know what we could do? We could go ahead and we could actually put water on here now that I've just done that. Let me get it where I can kind of see. And we're just going to do a little abstract painting here. So I think I'm going to do a little bit of red and just, oh, that is red. Look at that. Mix that in. And what I want to do is kind of get that mixing in maybe with the blue and see if we can't get some yummy other colors kind of going in there. This has got a fun little tip on it to give us some splashes. That's fun. I mixed up some silver also. So I thought, why don't we just try out, see how we like some of these. And I'm going to let that dry, so I'm going to do that with my heat gun to speed it up a little bit. Alright, and because we use that silver paint in here, I think I'm going to use the silver stuff with my dip pen. And I've got a little piece of paper here. I can get it started and do some testing. It's a lot lighter for sure than the gold. Ooh, but look at that. I can still get yummy silver lines. Ooh, look how pretty that is. I love putting little lines with little pearls of color on the lines. It makes it look so pretty when you do that. And we can put some dots up here. I'm a dot girl. Super fun. We could also come back, and I like to wash these out immediately. I don't want that ink sitting in my nib at all. We could also try our other pen and maybe do some writing. So let me grab that. That's our Kakamori little nib there. And you might test out your nib on a, ooh, yeah, look at that. Ooh, test out your nib on another piece of paper before you start drawing on your final piece, just to see, like, is it doing what you want? And that's definitely doing what I want. Ooh, look at that. Oh, super fun! Oh, look at that. Okay, that's definitely going to be a favorite little nib. I like the fine tip of that writing. Check it out. How nice and fine. The yummy metallic of our watercolor that we did. You know, another thing that we could do with that silver powder is we could mix that in with our other watercolors and make them metallic, so you don't have to make like a silver by itself. How super cool is that? And we could also, you know, test out the white. So one thing I like to do, especially with my gold paste, is to make a line of paint strategically somewhere on my piece, and then take a palette knife and smear that in strategically. Look how cool that is. And then, of course, we can come back and make some yummy dots. But I love how strategic we could get our line of paint there if we wanted. Check that out. Check it out. All right, yummy, yummy. Look at these. I hope you have fun checking out these supplies. I definitely want to see if you get any what you're doing with them, so come back and share those with me. And I'll see you next time. And that's a wrap. Thank you all so much for tuning in to check out my latest art supply haul. I hope you've enjoyed discovering these new supplies with me and that you feel inspired to try out some new art materials in your own creations. If you have any questions or comments about the supplies I featured today, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more art related content. And until the next time, keep creating and experimenting with your art supplies.